What's going on, Disney fans? It's Disney Dan back with another episode of DIStory, where we take you to infinity and beyond with our detailed research into the history of Disney theme parks, characters, and more. Back in the late 80s, a new computer graphics company developed small, short animated films to promote the power of their new computers and software. Some of this company's software would eventually be picked up by the Walt Disney Animation Studios to assist in the difficult ink and paint process for traditional 2D animation. Later, the Walt Disney Company would return to partner with this same company to release the first ever computer animated feature film, and in 1995, Toy Story hit the big screen to massive commercial success. Pixar's films, including Toy Story, have gone on to influence Disney parks in all sorts of ways, with character meet and greets, parades, shows, and even special festivals. And to the many toys featured in the Toy Story films, there is one particular character that continues to steal the hearts of fans all around the world: the lovable, squeezable alien.
Strangers from the outside.
First stumbled upon by Buzz in the Pizza Planet arcade claw game, the aliens quickly became a staple in the Toy Story series. Typically a background character, they still get their special little featured moments in the film, including the iconic rescue scene from Toy Story 3. Believe it or not, the aliens have actually made many appearances in and out of theme parks as costume characters and puppets. So to celebrate the Pixar takeover of Disneyland, let's jump into the history of the alien in Disney theme parks. In late 1995, to coincide with the release of the film, the Disney Parks team put together a brand new Toy Story parade. The short parade featured 4 main float units, each covered with costumed characters or animatronic versions of the iconic film toys. The third float unit was dedicated to Buzz Lightyear, with a costume character standing high above a sea of little green aliens. While Buzz was a costume character, all of the aliens below were actually animatronic puppets that could roll their heads back and forth and wiggle their arms up and down. Each alien was constructed in 2 pieces with a green fabric sleeve attaching the head through the body and 2 arms on each side independently controlled with rods. Occasionally, through the parade soundtrack, Buzz would interact with the aliens asking for help, in which they would all reply, pick me," and wave around. Later, the Buzz unit of the parade would also be accompanied by 3 separate standalone aliens that would travel in front of the float, each standing on a metallic barrel of sorts. These puppet versions of the aliens were articulated in the same way that the float props were, moving their arms and heads only. This parade would go on for almost 2 years at MGM until it was eventually replaced by a new feature parade for the animated film Hercules. In early 1996, Disney's World on Ice debuted a brand new touring ice production centered around the insanely popular new film Toy Story. The big Pixar ice show went through most of the film's plot and ended Act 1 of the show inside Pizza Planet, where Buzz would encounter the claw game and a horde of aliens. This was the first appearance of an alien walk-around costume, and as you can tell from the photos and videos, they're a little terrifying. The Pizza Planet portion of the show was done in a type of blacklight that would make the alien costumes glow in the dark. The heads of these aliens really didn't help them look fun and friendly like most families remembered from the film. Instead, the large foam heads topped with an extra long antenna were accented with 3 large hollow plastic dome eyes that, due to the blacklight, left them mostly dark and kind of black from the perspective of the audience. The oversized padded bodies were made entirely of a shiny blue plastic material with plastic ribbing inside to make them nice and round, and finally a pair of matching green gloves with extra long weird fingers topped off this entire alien ensemble. This is a great example of blacklight enhanced costuming done entirely wrong. The bright, friendly creatures turned into dark-eyed, scary-looking monsters with weirdly long dangling antennae and fingers. From the commercials and photos, this number looked extra scary, and I wouldn't be surprised if most families complained about it. On the other side of the world, in Disneyland Paris, a parade debuted to continue the celebration of Toy Story's release worldwide. This parade was a real mismatch of all sorts of different characters, walk-around props, and various toy-looking costumes. Included among the characters were 3 incredibly stiff and awkward-looking walk-around alien costumes. In fact, a walk-around costume might be too generous to call these things, as they were more like walk-around statues, with 0 movement beyond the bouncing from the steps of the cast member. The tube-like bodies kind of hovered slightly off the ground, with the cast members' feet clearly visible below. The design was incredibly stiff and lifeless. The arms, the head, the antenna, the legs, nothing really moved. In fact, I think these are probably the worst versions, even considering the scary, terrifying ones from Disney on Ice that we just saw, of the aliens that were probably ever produced by Disney. Sometime after the original MGM Studios Toy Story parade ended, a majority of the parade alien props were taken off the Buzz Lightyear float and used to decorate the interior of the new Pizza Planet arcade. These aliens hung from the ceiling of the arcade for almost 2 decades until being removed to make way for Pizza Rizzo in 2017, the renovation that removed Pixar's inspired Pizza Planet arcade completely from Hollywood studios. Recently, though, it's been revealed that the Rocket Pizza in Disneyland would be renovated into a new Pizza Planet quick service eatery, and it is rumored that these alien parade props will be reused again for a triumphant return. It's actually kind of great to see a prop like this reused, and it gives guests the opportunity to get a close-up look at the finer details of a once popular parade animatronic. I really wish they would do this more often. After Toy Story 2 released in the late 90s, the Disney park team had a fun idea to bring the popular toy franchise into the parks using Buzz Lightyear's Star Command as a portal into Tomorrowland's theming. A large stage in Tomorrowland's Center Plaza was themed into a fun, colorful, futuristic stage, and the new attraction, Club Buzz, was born. The show was a fun dance party type atmosphere that encouraged the guests to participate to help Buzz Lightyear defeat the evil Emperor Zurg. The cast member host of the show, on their quest to be a space ranger, enlisted the help from a small group of on-stage alien puppets. These little green men were all live puppets controlled from below stage by cast member puppeteers. On the upper tier, 3 of the aliens were controlled together with in-sync movements, including wiggling, arm waving, and speaking, while the 4th alien was actually a hand puppet that could move around in the small set, interacting with props and the characters on stage. The design was actually really beautiful, and the puppet alien was a really big hit. I think it's actually kind of awesome. It's probably one of my favorite alien puppets that they have produced. Eventually, the opening of Buzz Astro Blasters in 2005 made the double Buzz Lightyear attractions in Tomorrowland a bit useless, and the stage was converted to the Tomorrowland Terrace, where eventually Jedi Academy would take over many years later. It would be a while before Toy Story made its way back into theme park pop culture, and in 2008, the aliens made a triumphant return. Disney California Adventure was opening up a brand new Toy Story themed attraction, and with it came a fun new Pixar-inspired parade called the Pixar Play Parade. This parade incorporated tons of Pixar franchises from Monster Inc. to Finding Nemo, and in the Toy Story section, the aliens got their own special treatment in the form of a fun flying saucer float. In it, 3 alien puppets would bounce around, ray gun in hand, taunting and waving to the onlooking guests. The aliens on this float are actually particularly interesting in how they were controlled. A cast member performer would sit inside the rear-facing alien, looking forward out of small holes in the back of the large big green head. Using one hand for each, he would control the other 2 alien puppets on small rods. With this clever bit of movement, he could give the illusion of the rear alien kind of looking around and bouncing with the music, while the front 2 wiggled back and forth with their ray guns. This parade continues to run to this day, with no end in sight for these space-invading green alien guys. The Pixar Play Parade went hand in hand with the opening of Toy Story Midway Mania in California Adventure. And while technically not a walk-around character, the aliens did get their own special scene in the gallery shooting 3D interactive game. Guests could practice their ring-tossing skills on a board full of rocket ships and little green aliens. And in case you didn't know the secret to this round, let me tip you in on it. Ring all of the aliens on the ship in the center of the screen at the same time to make the rocket take off, revealing a giant robot loaded with great point opportunities. Man, I really love Midway Mania. While everyone on mainland was busy partying away with Midway Mania and the Pixar Play Parade, out in the open ocean, the Disney Wonder debuted a brand new Toy Story musical in April of 2008, which is kind of funny because Toy Story musical kind of took over the role of the Hercules musical on this cruise, and it was Hercules that took over the Pixar parade in MGM back in 1997, so this is kind of like a weird animation feud between Hercules and Toy Story that I've been covering. It's fascinating. The show featured amazing sets, great costumes, and clever practical effects to tell the iconic story of 2 crazy toys who just can't get along. About halfway through the show, the toys wind up at Pizza Planet, where Buzz is once again dropped into the crane machine full of aliens. Here we get to see a really great and innovative use of puppetry once again on board the Disney cruise ships for their shows, as an ensemble of puppeteers controlled an army of little adorable aliens. The claw machine was designed in 2 tiers, with the lower area being a large open ring lined with alien dummy props. Inside the ring, a dozen or so alien puppets would be operated by the entire cast surrounding Buzz. Each of these 3 aliens was controlled by one cast member, the center alien over their head, with the other 2 aliens as articulated puppets. With the set design of the Claw game's high walls surrounding the main cast, it allowed a lot of movement around Buzz without their legs being seen. While these puppets and the rest of the music were ultimately meant to make their way to the Hyperion Theater in Disneyland's California Adventure, the plans to debut it in the park were ultimately canned in favor of developing a new Frozen musical. Suppose they kind of regret that now that Pixar Pier's in there. Would have made the park a lot more fun and more cohesive. Heck, California Adventure's practically Pixar park, isn't it? I mean, come on. I mean, not anymore now they're getting rid of Bugs Land. Okay, I digress. Probably not going to use this in the final cut. If we do, surprise! Not long after the release of Toy Story 3 in theaters, a new Disney on Ice show was announced. Disney on Ice presents Toy Story 3, that would take fans on a journey of the best moments from the Toy Story trilogy. While the show is primarily the main plot from Toy Story 3 surrounding Lotso and the daycare, a few other scenes from the first 2 films were included too. A throwback to Woody's roundup moment from Toy Story 2 was included alongside the epic Buzz Lightyear battle with Emperor Zurg. And from the original Toy Story film, what other scene to include but the Claw? This remastered Disney on Ice scene ditched the weird, evil-looking alien costumes from over 20 years ago in favor of new, fun, bright, colorful designs that we absolutely love. The new costumes did the whole glow-in-the-dark idea the right way, instead of making an army of aliens look creepy and dead-eyed. All 3 eyes were now solid white and beautiful looking instead of those weird clear bubble domes. And the antennae were the correct size, with the big giant alien smiles now welcoming and fun instead of weird and kind of creepy. These suits were made of a bright blue covered fabric with a nice round polka dot pattern with highlights and trimmings in dark purple and bright pink. To keep the characters shorter than Buzz, all the performers crawled around on their knees for the better portion of the number, and when they got up on their feet to finally skate, the black lights made the characters glow in the dark and kind of detracted from the black legs seen from the feet down. It's honestly a real shame that these costumes aren't in the park for character meet and greets. These alien costumes are one of the best Disney on Ice costumes I've ever seen them put out. With a few fixes and tweaks around the height issue, these could easily be a staple inside many of the Toy Story lands in the Disney parks around the world.
Well, that concludes your new toy orientation. Don't worry, little partner. I'm sure you'll fit in.
So which alien is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks to all who watch, comment, and subscribe. It really means the world to us. Make sure you share this video with your Toy Story and Disney park loving friends, and check out some of our other DIStory content here and here. As always, thanks for watching, guys. You rock.